Hi, I'm Alexandra. I am filming on location here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina at the lovely barn at Valhalla, and you may hear some geese honking behind me through this video. They've been a little noisy the last bit. This video is about core strength reconnection when you're postpartum. There are so many bits of information out there about what to do and what not to do, what's safe and what's not safe. So I'll remind you that the things we're generally trying to avoid are crunch-like movements. Anything where we're bringing our head toward our knees, we want to stay away from that for a little while postpartum. Instead, there are three possible movements, shapes in this sequence that you can play with. And you might start out just playing with some of them, and as you feel stronger and start to notice that your core feels reintegrated, you might add the rest of them on. The first one is so simple and easy. You can do it at the countertop in your kitchen. You can do it on the back of a sofa. You simply want to bring your hands about maybe forearm height or so that they can press down on something. In a standing position, lengthen your tailbone. Imagine someone's about to tickle you or touch you so that you snug this space. Tuck your lowest ribs into your body and draw your shoulder blades down your back. If you don't have sensation in your belly space yet, don't worry. It takes some time to find it. Then bring your hands onto the surface that you're choosing. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale through your mouth, press down with your hands. At the same time, keep that sensation of snugging in and maybe intensify it just a little more. We'll do that twice more. Deep breath in. As you exhale, press down, engage. One more time like that, looking to feel that awakening of the core space. Inhale. I love this practice because you don't need a mat for it. You can simply do it anywhere that you have a counter space or counter height object available. You can do it on your changing table. You can do it on the dresser. You can do it on the back of a couch, on a console. And doing just a couple of those, 2 or 3 of them, can just remind you that your core is still there, it still exists, and it can help it kind of start to fire up and turn back on. Here are 2 more things you can do at a wall. I'm going to use this railing, but a wall works best. You can bring your forearm against your wall and step away from your wall just until you feel like you're in kind of a side plank shape. You'll know that because your side waist closest to the wall will have some muscular engagement happening. When I poke around here underneath a layer of cupcake, I can feel that indeed my obliques are working, probably my deeper core layer too, my transverse abdominis. You can hold this shape for a few breaths or come out of it. You can come out of it by pressing away as I just did, or by stepping closer to the wall, which is a little bit less effort. Hold that for maybe 3 or 4 breaths on one side, and then of course hold it for 3 or 4 breaths on the other side. A third shape that you can do at the wall is a variation of that movement. You come into side plank. How far you want, it's up to you. The further from the wall, the more challenging this is going to be. So as you begin this, start a little closer to the wall. For this variation of the shape, you'll inhale and drop your hips toward the wall, maybe getting a little side body stretch. And as you exhale, you'll zip back up, engage your belly, and notice again that your obliques are firing. To make it more challenging, simply step further from your wall. Inhale, dip your hips. Exhale, come on back up. You could do that for 2, maybe 3 times until you start to feel like, oh yeah, there is some fiery stuff happening there. And as long as you are maintaining a sense of engagement, you don't feel like your belly is spilling forward, you don't feel like you're losing a sense of control, then you're doing absolutely great. So start out with the presses, maybe add those little side plank wall leans, and then eventually add the dips. 3 shapes that I like to do on our backs are so sweet and simple, but they are wonderful and helpful. So come onto your back, and once you've arrived there, leave your head down on the mat. You're never going to lift your head off of the mat. You're going to leave it on the mat so that your head is never coming up. In this shape, bring your knees up so that your knees are stacked directly above your hips and hold on to the backs of your thighs. In this shape, I am already feeling that my core is firing, but I'm supporting the action of my core by holding on to my legs. Double check that your rib cage is tucking into your body, and imagine again that someone's about to tickle you or touch you and fire up your core space. You can hold onto your legs and just try maybe 2 or 3 breaths. That's a great place to start, and it may be a shape that you stay with for a while. Over time, as you start to feel stronger and start to feel like you have a sense of more core awareness, you can add, so coming from this position, your hands can move away from your legs and reach into space. You could also play with extending one leg out and the opposite arm out, just stretching into air. And that's going to get a little bit spicier, so you might do 1 or 2 of those, one each side, and then rest. The whole time that you're in this shape, whether you're holding the backs of your legs, releasing your hands, or moving a little bit here, the whole time that you're in this shape, you want to focus on tucking your rib cage in and engaging your core. If you start to feel like you're just releasing completely, you're not holding on to that pulled in feeling, take a break. These are great places to start. Here's my favorite place to end up. This isn't a beginner postpartum core pose, but maybe the 3rd, 4th, or 5th time that you're visiting these shapes. Instead of holding onto your legs, you can bring your hands to the fronts of your legs. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, press into your legs as if you were trying to throw your feet back to the floor, but you're going to resist that by pulling your legs back into your hands. Whew, this gets shaky so quickly. Double check that your rib cage is tucking in, your belly is engaged. Maybe take a round of breath here. And then release, take a break. You can do a couple more of those if you feel for it, but those are all really, really great options as you're building core strength. And a reminder, rather than sitting up, always roll to the side, press the floor away, and then come up to seated.